Coming up on the Desert Vision, the Army plays a key role in moving troops through theater gateways, and we take a look at how service members spent their Thanksgiving while deployed. Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Desert Vision. I'm Army Sergeant Heath Graham. Field Artillery, Army, Air Force, and Kuwaiti pilots came together for a unique joint training exercise. Army Sergeant Matt Waymeyer takes us to Udari Range in Kuwait for the story.
2nd Armor Brigade combat team units have trained with joint and partnered units to practice a simultaneous live fire exercise. The exercise included elements of the Air Force, Kuwaiti F-18 pilots, and an Army Attack Reconnaissance Battalion.
So really what we're trying to do out here is integrate all the assets at the disposal of the Joint Fires Observer that's organic to the battalion, so the JFOs can be a combat multiplier to their battalion commanders.
Coordination and communication were a large part of the success of the exercise.
We have aircraft that are flying that don't necessarily know what the Army is doing on the ground, so it's important that I am able to talk to them in a way that they understand what's going on the ground, since I'm the representation on the ground for the Air Force.
The exercise will happen monthly during 2nd ABCT's deployment. Army Sergeant Matt Waymeyer, 2nd Armor Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division, Camp Buchring, Kuwait.
Every year, thousands of American service members and their coalition partners visit Transit Center Manas in Kyrgyzstan as they begin or conclude their deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. While the Air Force manages a majority of the transient process for troops and contractors, the Army supervises several critical stages during their stay. Army Sergeant John Carkeet shows us how the Army helps streamline a process that ensures the right people get to the right place at the right time.
Shortly after the outset of combat operations in Afghanistan in 2001, the Air Force established an aerial refueling base at Manas International Airport, situated just outside Kyrgyzstan's capital of Bishkek. In the ensuing years, Manas, formerly called Gansey Air Base in honor of Peter J. Gansey, New York City's fire chief who died in the line of duty during 9/11, evolved into a massive transit center that currently oversees the movement of thousands of service members and civilians as they begin or conclude their deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. A typical stay for transients at Manas lasts between 24 and 72 hours. As they kill time playing cards, shooting pool, throwing darts, or gazing at the Kurtz Alatu mountain range, you can't help but wonder, who's managing the place? Enter 2 soldiers from the 143rd Sustainment Command, Expeditionary, serving as liaison officers for Manas Transit Center's command cell.
We're the interface between all the Army elements here on Manas and the wing staff. We try to facilitate any issues that come up, make sure that we handle them at the lowest level, so that the wing staff doesn't have to get involved in the Army business, basically.
Sergeant Major Schultz and I are the mission command for all of the Army elements on Manas. We have unit liaisons from active duty divisions and brigades that are also here as well that help facilitate the movement. Depending on the flow, it's between 10 and 20,000 soldiers and service members that come through here in a week.
Regardless what military branch or country a person hails from, every service member and civilian go through customs.
Any pills whatsoever in these bags, they need to come out.
There, soldiers from the 391st Military Police Battalion manage a streamlined system not unlike what one goes through at any major airport.
It's really all mission dependent. Depending on the day, we could process 5 service members, or we could process up to 2,000. Total, we've processed over 78,000 service members, DoD contractors and civilians. On top of that, we've also processed over 100,000 bags.
Traditionally, when I went through customs, it was in Kuwait. Over there, they didn't have some of the technology that we have. Here we have bag scanners and body scanners, so over there it was always 100% bag dump. Whereas here, we have certain requirements. We can hit 20% of the bags, but we can actually search all of them through the bag scanner for any contraband.
When our check bags come through, we're looking for flammable aerosols and lithium batteries, things that can start fires underneath the plane in the cargo hold, as well as rounds, expended shell casings, brass, grenades, explosives, anything like that.
After 12 years perfecting the transit process, America and her allies will soon say farewell to Manas as the military reroutes transients to redeployment centers in Kuwait and Romania. Reporting from Manas Transit Center in Kyrgyzstan, I'm Sergeant John Karki, 143rd Sustainment Command, Expeditionary.
A money-saving effort for the Department of Defense led to the recent opening of a mobile theater gateway for troops at Camp Buchring, Kuwait. Army Sergeant Jacob Fadley shows us the process for getting DoD personnel through the gateway and to their destination.
The theater gateway's purpose at Camp Arifjan is to facilitate the process of soldiers and civilians in and out of the area of operation. It's a busy and long process that requires a lot of patience and resolve from both traveler and gateway worker.
We go out to the buses, greet them with the local time, tell them the process that is about to happen. Once they go into our building, we tell them to drop their ID card off in their duty status and location. Means they're either on return, new arrival, emergency leave, and the duty status, the duty location would be like Buchring, Kennekar. So once we get their ID cards, we scan them into TPS, we brief them, and send them out to theater.
But thanks to some savvy planning and a little bit of travel by the gateway team, this operation is now saving a lot of time and money for the Army.
This being an expeditionary site, let's say because it's outside of the AJ compound, we'll be able to facilitate the process by reducing approximately probably about 6 hours of the process of the soldiers. Instead of them going down to AJ, they can go ahead and execute all the outbound and inbound procedures from here, and over 2,000 man hours.
The theater gateway team works hard to get people to their destination, and now they're doing it just a little bit more quickly. For the 371st Sustainment Brigade, I'm Army Sergeant Jake Fadley, Camp Buchring, Kuwait.
Yo, Alman, I just beasted that CBT. What? That's so lame, bro.
I think you forgot something.
Put that back.
Come and get it.
Oh, what happened?
Everyone knows you're supposed to take your cat card with you when you leave your desk. Woo!
Good job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Welcome back. Soldiers at Camp Arifjan laced up their running shoes and ran in remembrance of a fallen comrade. Army Sergeant Jacob Fadley has more.
The 371st Sustainment Brigade recently held a shadow run with the Dublin 5K back home in Ohio at Camp Arifjan, Kuwait, to honor the memory of Captain Nicholas Rosansky, an Ohio National Guard soldier who was killed in Afghanistan in 2012. The event helps raise funds and awareness for his memorial foundation that benefits students and families with scholarships and other charitable foundations. For the 371st Sustainment Brigade, I'm Army Sergeant Jake Fadley, Camp Arifjan, Kuwait.
There aren't many things during deployments that feel better than getting a package in the mail from back home. Army Sergeant Jacob Fadley takes us to the mailroom and highlights the process these packages go through before troops receive them.
Getting mail is a common occurrence, but getting a package while deployed? Well, that's a treat. And a few soldiers with the 371st Headquarters Company get up each day to ensure that those boxes make it to those eager hands.
Sort it out of one tri-wall into another tri-wall, separate all the units, and then we have our mail. And then our mail, we have to move to another tri-wall to get scanned. And then after we scan it, we have to sign it off of our manifest out in the parking lot, put it in the van, and then we unload it out of the van again when we get to the trailer. And then we bring it in here, and then individually we write everyone's name on a box, put it on the shelves, and then after we put it on the shelves, we make cards. And so, I mean, we touch people's boxes like 6 times before they even get it.
Only when they do get their mail, it's a reward within itself.
Like that, I can make people in the unit happy. I mean, everyone comes in and they're always happy to get mail, and everyone likes to see me. No, I'm never on anyone's bad side, really. If anything, I'm always on their good side.
The mailroom isn't a place many think about as a typical Army function, but it is an essential part to keeping morale high. For the 371st Sustainment Brigade, I'm Army Sergeant Jake Vadley, Camp Arifjan, Kuwait.
A group of Kuwait students and their families spent time with U.S. service members and experienced some of the fellowship that we value on Thanksgiving.
That's in New York also.
The children are part of a 2-year micro-scholarship program called Access that is open to 8th and 9th grade Kuwaiti children in public schools.
I think it's really, really important to show this is not only the things we celebrate. We're okay to celebrate. It's okay to celebrate other customs, other traditions, other ideas. That it's okay, or this is what we do. It's nice. They understand different cultures and traditions. I think it's really important.
The program teaches students the English language and also exposes them to American culture, such as Thanksgiving, which was celebrated with U.S. service members at the Beit al-Othman Museum in Kuwait City.
It's a holiday in which, as much as possible, we try to set aside a lot of the rush and the pressures and the stresses of other things to sit back and reflect on the things that are good in our lives.
Access is an exchange program for the children without the travel and is funded by the Department of State. Access works hand in hand with the embassy in Kuwait to provide U.S. cultural events for the students throughout the year. Service members enjoyed Thanksgiving lunch and a day in the sun together at a morale-boosting event. The Hilton Kuwait Resort hosted the event, sponsored by the Association of the United States Army Kuwait Chapter. Military members were treated to lunch, relaxation, and fun, enjoying camaraderie for the holiday while being deployed thousands of miles away from home. The event not only gave service members a Thanksgiving while being away from their families, but gave them an opportunity to leave base and experience a part of Kuwait. Well, that does it for this edition of the Desert Vision. For these stories and more, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/US Army Central. Thanks for watching.